Craig Ferguson has a gift for self-description and is a fantastic late-night host and comic. Many of the female guests on The Late Show have fallen madly in love with him due to his magnetic personality and irresistible appeal. However, Ferguson did recently mention that a love greatly influenced his life. He revealed to the world his true love with a blend of humor, candor, and anecdotes. As a result of this revelation, a lot of people are curious about the woman who managed to win over one of the most beloved TV personalities. Single her out, did they begin dating after the show? This is terrifying news, so come investigate with us. Although he currently resides in America, Craig Ferguson was born in Scotland. Actor, comedian, writer, and TV host all rolled into one. He was presented with a Peabody Award in 2009 for his conversation with Archbishop Desmond Tutu of South Africa. On CBS, he co-hosts The Late Show with Craig Ferguson, where he became famous. The British town of Springburn was the site of Craig Ferguson's birth on May 17, 1962. A child of working-class parents, Ferguson experienced the thrilling and perilous youth of Glasgow in the 60s and 70s. A family of 4 welcomed him into this world. Only his mother, Janet Ferguson, was there to bring him up. Robert, his father, was a postal worker. His career-defining nasty style of humor gained Ferguson notoriety as a young man. There were many challenges he had to overcome when he was younger. Ferguson dropped out of high school at the age of 16 due to his academic struggles and feelings of isolation. Punk rock music had a significant impact on his identity as a young man and helped him overcome these early struggles. Ferguson began an apprenticeship after deciding to forego further education and pursue a career in electronics. Still, he saw early on that he wasn't suited for this. He began his career in show industry after deciding to become famous playing drums for the punk band Dream Boys, formerly the Bastards from Hell. During this time, his passion for performing blossomed. That prompted him to go on a stand-up comedy career. After a clumsy beginning to his comedic career, he adopted the stage moniker Hitler, borrowed from Peter Capaldi, to mock the overly nationalistic Scottish folk singers who appeared in every public performance. Following his 1986 debut in Glasgow, Ferguson had tremendous success with the role at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. However, before year's end, Ferguson had already broached the subject of firing Bing. Ferguson made her television debut at the Edinburgh Festival, and she went on to star in Red Dwarf and STV's Hogmanay festivities in the 1993 holiday special One Foot in the Algarve. In 1990, Granada TV's comedy pilot, The Craig Ferguson Show, featured Helen Atkinson Wood and Paul Whitehouse. Being a successful musical theater performer was another area Ferguson researched. His stage debut was in the 1991 London production of The Rocky Horror Show, where he played Brad Majors. He performed the role of Father McLean at London's Union Chapel in Bad Boy Johnny and the Prophets of Doom in 1994. He reprised his role as Oscar Madison in The Odd Couple at the Edinburgh Fringe that very year. After seeing Ferguson perform at the Edinburgh Festival, Rick Siegel, who would subsequently become Ferguson's agent, suggested that he go to America. Fergie relocated to the City of Angels in November 1994. In the 1995 ABC comedy Maybe This Time, co-starring Betty White and Marie Osmond, he made his American acting debut as Baker Logan McDonough. His breakthrough role came from his portrayal of the protagonist's boss, Mr. Wick, on the American talk show The Drew Carey Show from 1996 until 2003. He explained that he was attempting to rectify the numerous generations of English actors who had delivered subpar Scottish accents by adopting an exaggeratedly aristocratic English accent for the role. James Doohan's portrayal of Montgomery Scott on Star Trek inspired him to seek revenge in his comedic film Spectacular, A Little Furious Revolution. He said, "The most prevalent last name among those he fired was Johnson, and his unorthodox methods of firing stood out. Despite leaving the program in 2003, he returned as a recurrent character in the final 2 seasons and the first half of the 2004 series finale." When Ferguson wasn't filming segments for Drew Carey's show, he would spend his time in his trailer writing and working. Saving Grace, I'll Be There, and The Big Tease are just a few of his numerous film appearances and lead roles. In addition to directing and producing I'll Be There, he was named Best Picture at the Aspen, Dallas, and Valencia film festivals. Although Craig Ferguson received acclaim for his performance on The Drew Carey Show, his breakthrough came while hosting The Late Show. After establishing himself as a popular character actor, he transitioned to late-night television hosting with his own unique approach. Craig Kilburn left The Late Show in January 2005, and despite Ferguson's fame as Mr. The Drew Carey Show featured the evil Ferguson. Since late-night hosts David Letterman and Jay Leno were the most popular in the United States at the time, most people were unaware of Ferguson. Regardless, the impact of Ferguson was immediate. When it came to organization, Ferguson took a completely different approach. He revolutionized late-night comedy by doing something different from the usual fare of speeches, sketches, and interviews. Rather than repeatedly rehearsing his lines, he frequently began with an unanticipated introduction, addressing the audience with a cordial tone. He distinguished himself from other artists of his day with his spontaneous manner. His infectious joy and endearing personality won over onlookers in no time. On The Late Show, Ferguson became famed for his unique ability to blend humor and genuine honesty. He spoke openly about his struggles with addiction, his journey to citizenship, and the loss of his father. These exposed moments were when he connected with his audience on a deeper level and gave the performance greater significance. It was great to have Ferguson as a guest on the show. He stood out from other late-night hosts because he avoided scripted responses and idle chatter, but he engaged his visitors in genuine conversation, even when they veered off topic, which created unexpected and entertaining moments. His charisma, wit, and innate ability to put people at ease transformed the interviews from promotional stops on a media tour into more relaxed conversations. One of the endearing peculiarities of the performance was the way he spoke to Secretariat. A vocal skeletal robot named Jeff Peterson and a performance horse named Jeff. Including these absurdist elements made the show stand out from other late-night shows and had a particular odd comedy. Being a guest on The Late Show was a big success for Ferguson. Both fans and reviewers took notice of her. He demonstrated his intelligence and talent for discussing weighty topics in a 2009 Peabody Award-winning conversation with Archbishop Desmond Tutu. After nearly a decade on television, Ferguson announced his departure from the show in April 2014. His last performance was on December 19, 2014. Many of his beloved guests made appearances, and he said a heartfelt goodbye, making it a joyous celebration of his tenure as host. He left an indelible impression on late-night television, and with his departure marked the end of an era. Ferguson will take over hosting duties for the late 2014 season of the syndicated game show Celebrity Name Game, according to a 2013 announcement by Coquette Productions. Ferguson has been hard at work on the CBS evening show since 2011 when the pilot episode and the idea for the show first came up. A total of 180 episodes of the show were ordered in April 2014. Launching on September 22, 2014, the show began airing episodes. Ferguson was honored with 2 afternoon Emmys in 2015 and 2016 for her exceptional work as the host of Celebrity Name Game. After 3 seasons, rumors circulated that the show will be canceled. Ferguson played Prentice Porter on ABC's comedic series The King of 7 Billion, which premiered in 2015. I really hope the show gets picked up by a network soon. Get Ready to Die with Craig Ferguson, his history talk show, premiered on February 18, 2016. After becoming a citizen of the U.S., Ferguson got the tattoo on his arm. It was an homage to a political drawing by Benjamin Franklin that appeared in the May 9, 1754 edition of the Pennsylvania Gazette. Every show has a different topic discussed in a lighthearted manner by Ferguson and 3 historians and comedians. Before this, we discussed the most ineffective presidential campaign, the most consequential founding father, and the most groundbreaking invention. From January 20, 2021 through April 21, 2022, Ferguson hosted the American game show The Hustler on ABC. The program promoted Twitter as a platform for audience feedback. A competitor goes under the codename The Hustler behind closed doors, and with all the answers figured out before the show even begins. 2 of the truthful participants are eliminated at the conclusion of the game, while the remaining 4 collaborate to solve Ferguson's knowledge questions and win a monetary reward. To prevent the hustler from winning the entire prize, the other 2 must make the right choice. The show returned to its regularly scheduled hour on January 7, 2021, following its premiere on January 4, 2021. After 2 seasons and 19 episodes, the sitcom reportedly ended airing in April 2022 after airing weekly at 10 p.m. Like his challenging emotional journey, Craig Ferguson's romantic life has been full of ups and downs. Throughout his 3 marriages, Ferguson has been forthright about each one. Each time, he has discussed the specifics with the same forthrightness and introspection that has brought him fame. Similarly, being from Scotland, Anne Hogarth was Ferguson's first wife in 1983. Prior to his rise to fame and eventual relocation to the United States, Ferguson tied the knot. Their marriage was short-lived because they divorced in 1986. In 1998, Ferguson tied the knot with Sacha Corwin, a fitness trainer and bodybuilder. This coupling piqued the interest of more people. Milo Hamish Ferguson was born to Ferguson and his wife in 2001, the year they initially arrived in the U.S. to work as workers. Despite the joy of parenthood, the marriage ended in 2004 due to a divorce. Despite their marital dissolution, Ferguson maintains close relationships with Sacha and her mother. She has been very complimentary of Sacha in interviews, praising their mutual respect and ability to collaborate as a parenting team. Megan Wallace Cunningham, a Vermont art dealer, is Ferguson's third and current wife. They had a modest ceremony and reception on her family's property on December 21, 2008. Despite her renowned husband's fame, Megan has largely avoided the media. She is in a secure relationship with her spouse, and they both support each other. They welcomed a son into the world in 2011 and called him Liam James Ferguson. The question that has been plaguing us for so long now has an answer. Who is the one who truly loves Craig Ferguson? Was it Sacha, his second wife, or one of the other ladies he had courted through his television shows? During an appearance on The Stern Show, Craig Ferguson revealed that he had asked Sharon Stone out on a date following her appearance on The Late Show. According to Craig, all that happened that night was that he and Sharon had dinner together. Honestly, the scene from Basic Instinct just kept running through my head. The date seemed too similar to their TV interview, and Craig couldn't help but imagine Sharon in one of her most famous movie roles, so he decided it wasn't worth it. In my opinion, we were both successful. According to Craig, he acknowledged it. After meeting Megan, who would later become his wife, Craig wasted little time getting engaged. He expressed his happiness at being seized. According to Howard, Craig told him that their meeting was the end of it. Truthfully, I believe it rescued me. I fear that making an effort would have made me appear foolish. Their future together appears to be bright, and Ferguson has often mentioned how Megan helps him feel grounded and grounded in perspective. Particularly in light of his history of unhappy relationships, he finds great joy in his marriage. He went so far as to say she was his soulmate. Based on his personal experiences with love and marriage, Ferguson's stand-up routines and rants on talk shows are humorous and insightful. His admirers were moved by his candor regarding his relationships, particularly the challenges of maintaining them in the spotlight. After their time on The Late Show ended, Craig Ferguson has proven himself to be an accomplished host, actor, and director in his previous television appearances. He has made appearances on numerous television shows, including Countdown with Keith Olbermann, The Daily Show, Loveline, The View, The Howard Stern Show, and Late Show with David Letterman. His other television appearances include Late Night with Conan O'Brien, The Howard Stern Show with David Letterman, and Jay Leno's The Tonight Show. Talk shows hosted by Kevin Pollak, Real Time with Bill Maher, The Talk, The Soup, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert were among them. He made an appearance on The Price is Right as a guest host on April Fool's Day in 2014. Live with Regis and Kelly was another show he co-hosted with Kelly Ripa. Ferguson appeared in an episode of We Love You, Conrad, hosted by Family Guy in 2009. On January 10, 2006, he presided over the 32nd Annual People's Choice Awards. The Boston Pops Fireworks Spectacular, which aired nationwide from 2007 to 2010, was hosted by him on CBS. His 2008 performance at the Washington, D.C. White House Correspondents Association dinner was another highlight of his career. Washington, D.C. on the 26th of April 2019. Ferguson has provided his voice for numerous animated features. He provided the voice for Susan the Boyle on Futurama, a character inspired by the Scottish singer Susan Boyle. He was a stand-up comic in New York and Sin City. He stole the show at Montreal's Just for Laughs festival. We Bid a Revolution, a special that Ferguson shot in Boston in October 2008 for Comedy Central's We Bitter Revolution series, aired on March 22, 2009. Thoughts for the British lighthearted drama Ferguson wrote 12 episodes for the series, and the character Doc Martin was based on one in his film Saving Grace. Ferguson voiced the role of himself on an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants called SpongeBob's Truth or Square, which aired on November 6, 2009. In the September 2013 season finale of Hot in Cleveland, he portrayed a newspaper reporter. His former co-star and late-night show regular Betty White saw him again on the program. In March 2014, when the show returned, Ferguson reprised the role in multiple episodes. It was on February 27, 2017, when Ferguson launched his talk show, The Craig Ferguson Show. Sirius XM's Faction Talk and Comedy Greats channel both carry it. The program lasts for 2 hours.